Welcome back to EB's Real Talk. I am excited to continue this conversation. We talked earlier about the faith and all of the things that are attached to Islamic faith. But now I want to go in the rabbit hole where we're going to talk about some things and clear up some issues that have become more prevalent than anything else against the religion. So one of the things I want to go back to is earlier you talk about that the religion, and I'm going to say faith, because I like the word religion. The faith allowed you to find some comforts in yourself, do some work in the community, and you, the prison has prisoner issues have fell in your lap, and you have solved some of those issues. Now, there are some who now believe that the Islamic faith perpetuates violence. Could you please give the viewers some distinct information that they'll stick with them, that they can always land back to whenever that comes up again?
Well, actually, you know, a person really has to look at themselves and what they're doing and what they say they believe in. And when they do that, then they'll be less critical of somebody else.
Okay.
The mirror is always, a lot of times, deceptive. A person is in self-denial. And I say that to say that when you start looking back at a person's faith, it's this not now. You go all the way back to different faiths throughout history.
Yeah.
And you'll find some of the most violent people that ever lived were people who call themselves Christians.
That's correct.
Okay?
Yes.
You got the Crusades and all of the records dealing with all of that kind of stuff.
That's correct.
And the whole point of this, you have good people and bad people and everything. Mm-hmm. You know, you got good Jews, good Muslims, bad Muslims, good Christians, bad Christians.
Correct.
And that's really the age-old thing about this religion and that religion. It's about good and evil. That at the end of the day, there's only two things.
And when you say evil, what do you consider to be evil?
Well, one of the things is crimes against humanity. You know, now I know that's a broad-based thing because crimes against some part of humanity is okay, but crimes against another part of humanity is not okay.
But what do you say?
I say that anybody that mistreats anybody, that kills, murders, slaughters people for no reason at all, you understand, is in conflict with the universal law of any religion.
Correct.
You know,
and what is that? What is the universal law? Describe that in terms.
The law based on what God has given man to live by. And in all of the religions, that's always the same. It doesn't make any difference whether it's Christianity, Judaism, or Islam. The rules are the same. But if a person doesn't study, you know, and they just study in the news or the propaganda media, then they're going to come up with what they want them to believe and see. Study your own religion, look at it very closely, and then you'll be able to see you can't point your finger at anybody.
Right. So I think that, and I'm hoping I characterize the question properly. Mm-hmm. I think that because the people that are coming against us, and I hate to say it like that because we started that fight, but I won't go down that road. The people that are coming just happen to call themselves a sort of a Muslim. And then they use some cold words like jihad, when I know it has another meaning, and we attach those kind of things to it. What do you say, not to the people that may be saying it, but do you think that there's a perception that may be wrong? What is the what kind of perception should we get from what those people are saying?
Well, number one, if you don't study, then somebody, and you're depending on your information to come from somebody who basically orchestrates even your own success and failure, then you're obviously going to just buy into whatever they say.
So you say read,
study.
Read. And what do you suggest that a layman person
just basically study some fundamentals of the religion? Okay, and actually the whole thing is, there's an old saying, to thine own self be true.
Yes.
Okay, so what a person needs to do is look at themselves before they start trying to criticize somebody else. Okay, and then look at what they believe in, not what somebody told them to believe in, but go do independent self-study of your own religion. And then what you'll do, you'll find out that you got more in common there's more, Muslims have more in common with Christians than any other religion. You know,
Yes.
and it tells us in the Quran, it said, closest to you in faith are those who call themselves Christians. Okay? So if, you know, somebody is being paid to do something or to say something or to influence people, you don't pay a news reporter $4 or $5 million a year just to sit up in front of a microphone. This person has to be trained to deliver a message in a certain kind of way, with a certain kind of look, with a certain kind of inflection in their voices, and all of that.
They give up emotion.
Right. The media is a tongue for the society at large, and the society at large is the one that is manipulated by a smaller segment of a society that nobody knows about. People talk about the Illuminati and all that. I don't know nobody in the Illuminati. You know anybody in there?
No, sir.
Okay. And if you did, you think they would say, you know, listen, EB, I'm in the Illuminati.
Yes,
let me tell you the secret.
Yes,
if it's a secret, it's a secret. That means you don't know.
You don't know. That's right.
You're in a guessing game. You know.
You said some things I'm gonna get to, but and I'm gonna kind of close off this segment by asking you, what do you say? What would you like to say to the people that really want to learn for an understanding?
They should go to a mosque.
Okay, you have open where, and what are some of the things you suggest?
There's a big mosque on the west side.
Beautiful place.
Called the Islamic Center.
Islamic Center.
They offer classes on that. We offer classes as well for people who are interested, but we're not there waiting at the door for somebody to say they're interested. If you're interested, you call a certain number, talk to a person, and that person will set up a time for you to come in and learn, or refer you to a book or to some books that you can actually get some questions out of. You know, we had a book called The 25 Most Asked Questions About Islam. And then there's answers to those 25 questions that most people ask about the religion.
I have a unique respect, because I went in search of a religion, but because I love my community so much and I want to learn so much about it, I went to WD. He was down at East Tech some years ago. One of the children of
Wallace Muhammad.
And then I went to the Islamic Center, and then I went to the one down on Fairmount, I think it is Fairhill.
Yeah, Fairhill. Okay,
yeah, and then, yes, and so I've had a certain amount of respect. So now there's some things that I hear that I try to blow off of, because I'm not embedded in the religion or know some details. But there's some things I kind of complete, because the one thing that we can start talking about that is I found that we are better together. I know it's a cliche now, but we're better together than separated. Back in the early parts of the movements, I noticed that religion was never discussed as a segregated part of our relationships. It was always we joined them at the mosque, or we joined them at the church. It's we, and the more we start talking about the segregation of the religions, the more far apart we got. Do you agree?
Well, who's responsible? Okay, first of all, let's do this. The way when a policeman or a detective goes into trying to solve a case, a murder case in particular, okay, or a bank robbery, it's like, okay, number one, when the husband dies, the first person is a suspect is the wife. Why? Because she could be a benefactor.
Sure. Yeah.
And if she's a benefactor, then she's the first suspect.
Correct.
Okay, so it's the same thing like with, to give you an idea about, since we're talking about perception of the religion, 9/11. That's a perfect example.
Okay, yeah, glad to talk about that.
9/11 is like when you start looking at who were the benefactors and who were the perpetrators. They're all they're the same people. Okay, how did Muslims benefit from that? By having 1 million people killed. The people who benefited from it was the military-industrial complex, the people who owned those buildings, especially building number 7. Okay, $1 billion, and he just took out $1 billion insurance a month before the building collapsed. So who are the benefactors? Usually when you find the perpetrator, you find the benefactor and the perpetrator are usually the same people.
Now some people are going to have a problem with what you said, but this is really key. So let's break this down a little bit at a time, so that people understand the details of what you're saying. So before they blow it all off and say, okay, here we go again. No. Let's talk about the finance part of that. Let's act as if they're right? Their perception is the Muslims did it, okay? Let's talk about just the financial part. Where would or where would not the Muslims benefit off of committing a crime like that?
Nowhere. Point blank. Nowhere. How does it benefit that you got somebody, the President of the United States right now, who gets up every morning along with National Security Advisor or whoever else he has coffee with, and they decide how many people they're going to kill that morning? That's what they do. Okay, so how are you benefiting by going in here and doing this kind of stuff? I mean, there is so much evident. To me, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm just looking at how things work, as if I was a detective.
If you was a detective, and that's the way you look at it. So
Right.
you said so nowhere. So now the second question on that line of this rabbit hole we went into is, we're talking about 9/11 again. We're talking about 9/11. 9/11 is one of the rememberable atrocities. We remember it. Whether you agree or not, who did it was one of the things. We'll dive into that. So we talk about the financial part. How does it benefit or not benefit to politically to a Muslim?
It doesn't benefit them at all. Number one, there was an eroding away. Most of the common people were like starting to line up against the treatment of the Palestinians, okay, by the Israelis.
That is right.
All right?
Yes.
These are facts. I mean, this is not something that I'm conspiring to coming up with. These are facts. Okay? So they had to turn the tide on that. So what you have to do is you have to make it's not just one or two things that make somebody do what they do.
Okay.
Okay, just as another example, we talk about money, financial. Okay.
Okay.
Number one, okay, if you have all of these people starting to convert to Islam, including white people,
Yes.
you start having them converting to Islam. Okay, no gambling, no prostitution, no cigarettes, no alcohol, no interest, no whatever.
Yeah.
None of that. Do you realize those are multi-billion-dollar industries?
Lost.
Trillion-dollar industries. Okay, now you get 100,000 people, they stop buying liquor. 100,000 people stop going and gambling. 100,000 people don't get prostitutes anymore. 100,000 people have to start now taking care of their children. 100,000 people, you understand, do you realize sometimes a company's margin is only $5 or $10 million profit?
Yeah.
All right.
A little bit about business. You're
And,
correct.
and the same thing about when during the riots. We're talking about finances now. Okay, and that's what everything is about here.
So hold up for go there, because I'm actually going down that hole, and I want
Right.
to talk about the last thing I want to talk about on 9/11, and we're going to kind of close with that, because I know it's kind of sensitive to people, but I really want people to get the information, and then you can decide do what you want to do with it.
Right.
So we talk about financial, we talk about political. The last thing to talk about is what is it? How does it benefit or not benefit the culture of Muslims? Meaning maybe as far as the perception of the culture of Muslims to do what they did or not.
Okay, number one, most of the Muslims who come here from out of the country,
Yes.
they are told. Now, if it's a lie, whoever told me is lying. And they don't have a reason to tell me anything like that. They are told not to deal with you and me, regardless if you're Muslim or not.
Okay.
And you can tell how when the kind of stores that they put in your neighborhood, in my neighborhood, are not the kind of stores they have in their own neighborhoods where they live.
You talk about Muslims.
Muslims.
Okay. From
Okay?
other countries.
From other places.
Okay.
Okay? They are told not to deal with you. They're told they could lose their status, their green card, their citizenship if they help you. Find one anywhere that's willing to stand up and march with you in the civil rights march. Any of that. They didn't come here for that. They came here to make money. And when we became Muslim in the 60s, they were hiding. Their name was Mo, Sam, John, Jack, Roy, and all the rest of that. There was no Islamic Center. Okay, in 1969. There were three masjids in this city at the time. 3. Now there's around 20. All right? So the point of dealing with the money situation and keeping people separated, the whole piece on separation is these people have been bullied into saying and being told, don't deal with blacks. If we catch you trying to help them, you understand, you're going to have a problem. And I mean, all you have to do is look at it. It's not, don't take my word for it.
Okay.
Just look at it. Just go where you're going to go and talk to who you're going to talk to. Get in the community and find out what's really happening with these people.
Yeah, I got to tell you that I'm a little disappointed that we have done less to understand each other, and every Muslim I've ever met has never been resistant to understanding. I mean, you ask them questions, they pop it off so fast. And even if it becomes a heated conversation, they back off a little bit and try to go back to the brotherhood part of it. But then they rise back up and answer your question maybe in a way that's acceptable. So I really don't understand that. And so what I'm trying to do, even in this segment of it, is to get some understanding, because I want people to have an understanding. All right. So thank you for clearing it up for us. Give us the number, or maybe later we can put it up, a number of the Islamic Center.
Okay.
And make sure we have that. I did notice one here recently on Richmond Road.
Yeah, that's Mace.
Okay.
It's called Mace.
Okay, yeah.
You know, they have their, that's a nice, all the masjids are nice.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of, it's like anything else. The personalities that gravitate to certain mosques.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have mosques that, you know, these kind of people gravitate, the other people gravitate, these people gravitate, these people gravitate. They got different places that they like to go.
Yeah, yeah.
And a lot of times it's not based on, you know, the religion itself. It's just based on who goes there.
Yes,
You know?
yes. So we're going to come back in a minute and discuss one of our last segments, going to be about some other particulars that I want to make sure we close out. This is EB's Real Talk. Hey there, brothers and sisters. This is EB Smith. Real Talk is me helping you by giving you information I know you will be inspired to be a greater you. And with a greater you, our communities are better and our world is better. But I want to reach more people. To do that, I need your help. Will you subscribe and share my videos? Tell everyone what we're talking about here on Real Talk. Another way to partner with me, donate $1. That's donating just $1. Go to PayPal and send ebsrealtalk@gmail.com. Go to PayPal, donate $1, send ebsrealtalk@gmail.com. Since we don't like the world we live in, let's change it together. Thank you.